Well, look, thank you very much, Rose, for an introduction. It made me feel quite old, I think. But look, firstly, I'd like to pay my respects to the Wabakal people on whose land we meet, and particularly pay my respects to elders past and present. And look, what a week in which to have the Hunter Innovation Forum. It's a very interesting week for innovation ecosystems. I particularly, before, in a sense, commenting on perhaps the fragility of the national system, wish to welcome the State Member for Charleston, who I think may not be with us just at this point, but Dr. Andrew Cornwell, Government Whip, when he comes back. Particular welcome to the Federal Member for Newcastle, Sharon Claydon, of course. I'd like to say thank you to John Coyle, Chair of the Steering Committee, and all members of the committee for taking on the organisation and delivering to the Hunter a real innovation hub. I'd like to thank and recognise Neville Sawyer, who's a long-standing prior chair of the Hunter Innovation Forum, and my good colleague Eileen Doyle at the back, chair of Hunter Founders Forum. Now, Eileen and I split today. We're both on the State Innovation and Productivity Council, and so we split our allegiances. Eileen has flown the flag here today, and I flew the flag for the Hunter on the State Council. So a sort of a tremendous power of two, hopefully. But look, this week, on Tuesday evening, looking at the budget, it would have to be said, and of course we are yet to see the full expression of the budget. The devil is always in the detail. But there wasn't a strong resonance in that budget of recognition of the importance at this particular time in Australia's focus on productivity, skills and growth, that innovation was going to be at the centre. In fact, I felt that the context or concept of a national innovation ecosystem was challenged and a fragility was coming into play. But the criticality of that, really, and it's yet to be determined whether the removal of funding for science and technology and CSIRO and ANSTO and AIMS and setting and, in a sense, a stepping back from CRCs and potentially innovation precincts will augur a change in the approach of the government, or whether, in fact, it will be recast as an innovation system but under different schemes. But I think, critically, whilst a national innovation ecosystem may be challenged, it highlights the absolute criticality of having strong regional innovation ecosystems. And that's what the Hunter Innovation Forum is at the heart and centre. And in times of challenge, in times of plenty, it's always key to have that centre very grounded. For a university, such as our university, it's extremely important that we play our role with partners and leaders in the business and industry, government and community in being a strong player, sometimes a partner, sometimes a leader in different parts of that regional innovation system. And so today, as a sponsor and in having a strong presence in the program and having a strong presence with partners on the program, it's a really an excellent opportunity to, in a sense, put that perspective and in the closing minutes. I think it's often interesting how communities view their universities. It's through often personal and family lenses, which is a wonderful connection. But the assets which universities offer, and particularly in those cluster scenarios that we've been hearing about that are so powerful in the UK, in Europe, and are coming to fruition in Australia, but perhaps not on that same trajectory as they have in the EU. But the role of universities and the assets they bring is a very rounded set of assets into the innovation ecosystem. We always think, of course, of those graduates who will drive the productivity and skills agenda as professionals and professional leaders, as our absolute key outputs, and so it is. But we have 39,000 students, and I think more contemporary is the sense that those students are actually not only budding entrepreneurs, they are actually entrepreneurs, and being able to harness their skills, as Slingshot has done with groups of our students this year, in building new businesses early in their career. Actually, graduation is not the moment at which you become that business founder, showing us and the students themselves that creativity and innovation can be harnessed, and the university can support that through its structures, supporting students who want to be entrepreneurial leaders, maybe in the creative space, the technology space, the business space, and actually have a credit within their programs for engaging and beginning, as perhaps the Slingshot leaders would suggest, in being able to understand how to fail 10 times before you succeed magnificently once with your business. So creating an entrepreneurial environment and our wonderful graduates then in the region who can participate in the innovation ecosystem. Critically, an asset with the university is our partners in the international space. We heard just in the past session of how important it is to be able to bring partners into a global supply chain for their business. And having worked with a number of CRCs and in a number of situations on boards where what we've seen is driving partners, our industry partners of university, into global supply chains, where, for instance, component suppliers for car manufacturing in Australia were introduced to vehicle manufacturers in China and Malaysia through university partners. So the universities had a trust relationship between Australia and China. They each had relationships with their industry partners, and then the industry partners were introduced to each other. Innovation diplomacy. And so universities have quite powerful partnerships with their trusted researchers who themselves engage with industry or precincts, whether it be Shanghai, India, or indeed across the EU. So I think accessing those partnerships to enhance the global supply chain requires some strategic connectivity and engagement. But at the heart of those partnerships are really the staff who as academics engage in their, what we would call the global academies, whether that's in best practice in business management or best practice in engineering technology, or how to improve assisted reproduction, as Laureate Professor John Aitken engages in at the world level, or how to improve the separation of more valuable mineral from the products coming through with less water usage, as indeed our chemical engineers do, and so forth. So our staff, by engaging in the world of their peers, understand what is likely to be the next innovation in an industry practice or a policy development environment. And it's that exposure which, when they bring it back into the institution and the region, mean that when they are partnering, they are able, in a sense, to support world-class innovation. And for me, the role of a university is not to get out of bed every day and say, what a terrific institution we are, we're ranked X and Y. It is actually to take that performance and take that reputation and purpose it into regional innovation. And I think there is no challenge between being working in the global space and being absolutely focused in regional development of strong regional communities. And we've seen that today, and we've seen that through the programme of how that interweaves with the voices of our speakers on panels, the presenters, how they weave in and out of the world, referencing the disciplinary environment, the multidisciplinary environment internationally, and then practice regionally. So reasonably, how to connect and engage the working parts of an innovation ecosystem is always the challenge. I'm absolutely a passionate supporter of the research and innovation cluster model that we've heard. It demonstrably works and adds value. The literature and evidence base is clear, the inner academic in me, but it is the case if you're going to take an organisation down a direction, you do want to know there is some world literature that supports the premise. And so as an institution setting up our global e-health cluster or our defence cluster, again, adding value to take and expose our researchers to the industry problems for which there may be a solution or capability. But it's easy to attempt to do that and build a network, as we have heard, not a purposeful cluster. So our challenge that's set by this forum, that's set by the articulation of an innovation scorecard, as so nicely presented through RDA, as articulated through the data on our manufacturing and industry base, as articulated daily in Australia's challenge in changing from the clever country to the entrepreneurial nation, is to be a partner and learn how to engage and connect. And again, we may engage fail 10 times and then purpose the learning to good effect. So as a partner working with the other leaders and partners in this room, while Tuesday night may have had a sense of disappointment at the leadership in relation to positioning Australia. The leadership is well and truly alive in the committee that's brought the Hunter Innovation Forum together and continues to ensure that we don't lose sight of the innovation right here in our doorstep that we collectively can bring to good effect. Thank you very much.